Hello, hello.
I hate all these stupid, like, make sure it's okay to record. We all know it's recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, just like let me unmute myself already.
Cam, you're in space. You're on Space Force now?
No, no.
No?
Yeah, I did something with my default Zoom settings and I can't change it back. So I don't know. Instead of changing it on every call, well, long story short, I purchased my OG domain for my website like 5 or 6 years ago. And I guess I missed an email and it expired. So it went past the renewal date, whatever. So it's expiring. So I no longer have access. I didn't realize it for like 2 weeks, but all of a sudden I checked my inbox and I was like, I haven't gotten an email in 2 weeks. I was like, something must be wrong. And I checked it and it was like, your DNS settings are expired. And then I went down the rabbit hole trying to fix it. And they're like, you can't because your domain is expiring and it's going to be sold and up for renewal. And so like I can rebuy it, but I can never like reinitiate and save all of my emails and inboxes that I have like over 6 years, which is
That's
infuriating.
lovely.
Yeah. So now I
Awesome.
have to change everything I've ever done on the internet with my old email. And it's like, I don't have time for this, like at all.
You don't have a VA or
Yeah, even if I did, like, I'm not gonna disable 2FA into all of these old accounts just so that they can go in
Mm.
and change it, just so I can re-verify that someone from the Philippines is like, it's just too much. Like, I know what to do, so instead of me having to tell somebody to do something that I know how to do, I just don't have time for. Like, now I have to make time at that, which means all of my other initiatives don't have to move forward. So,
That's
whatever.
okay. Maybe you needed this reset.
Yeah, I mean it's good. Like I like that kind of stuff, but it is what it is. So, anyways, enough about
Last year I
me.
was really petty and I bought a bunch of domain names that are similar to other businesses around here. Now they have to buy them back for me.
Yeah, that's smart. I know people that have made a lot of money doing that. They've waited years to do that. I know a guy in Boston that he used to buy domains like it was his job. And one time he sold one for like millions of dollars. And I was like, dude, good for you, right?
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Anyways, so let's talk about you guys just doing intros, right? So Taylor, Emily, Brian, Lindsay, and then Tona. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves, where you're from, what you do, why you're here, and then we'll get into questions.
Who do you want to go first?
You, Taylor, then Emily, then Brian, then Lindsay, then Tona.
Hi, my name's Taylor. I'm from Destin, Florida, originally from California. I'm a realtor, a magazine publisher. Um, I'm here because I was hoping the dogs would be on the video, but now I'm disappointed. I'm kidding. I just tease Cam about that all the time. Um, but no, I'm just always here to learn and grow because I can always pick up something from somebody. I've been around for a long time. So yeah.
Hell yeah, love it. Emily, why don't you say hello?
Good evening. I'm Emily. I am in Nortonville, Kansas. I work in HR and in finance. Um, yeah, I'm just here, like Taylor said, to learn, grow, hopefully become an entrepreneur. So yeah.
Okay, hell yeah. Let's see, Brian, what's up? What you got?
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm in Temecula, California. I work for a public utility and ditto to my friends to learn, grow business tactics and to, yeah, be the best version of myself.
Love it. Lindsay, what's up?
Hello, my name is Lindsay. I recently moved back to Southern California from San Francisco. I left my cold plunge infrared sauna job, and now I'm wanting to go back to school for psychology or criminal justice. And I'm just here to help myself on all levels, definitely reprogram my subconscious
Um,
and the aspect of the community. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, that's why we do this. It's good. I really like these calls too. Tona, what's up? Say hello. You're on mute. Maybe you're driving. We'll give you a second. All right. So, whole spiel for these group calls. Group calls are always free for members of our community. A lot of you guys are alumni or in this project. Feel free to drop whatever associated links for your business or your personal stuff down below in the main chat. I'll share books and stuff like that. These group calls are not for me to just get on my high horse. Sometimes I can go on a tangent with these because you guys bring up some really good points that are things that I've seen a lot, and I want to kind of hammer those home. But this is really for you guys to connect. So I was just clicking through. Anytime you guys RSVP, I want you guys to submit questions. A lot of personal and business related. I think right now, astrology wise, we're in a Mercury in retrograde, and there's a bunch of eclipse stuff happening that does a lot of things to people's emotions. I'm not an astrologist, so I can't uh, exactly say what's going on. But anytime and lately, I'll say there's been a lot of personal issues, people having issues with relationships and stuff. As you know, as a community, I love to focus on relationship aspects, interpersonal relationships for both whatever dating, intimate reasons, and then also for business stuff. And then eventually, I'd like to help people on their entrepreneurial journey or business. That's really my forte because that was my story. And so, all of you guys are either on that path now or at the beginning or the end of it. But regardless, you're in a great community for exactly that, which is super supportive. So these group calls and a lot of one-on-ones have been more personal, breakup, relationship related. But I love when we have these group calls and it turns into more business stuff. So don't feel like you always need to submit a relationship question because I get tired of making content like that. It's just the content that like resonates with most people. And I get a lot of questions about that. And because it resonates with more people, I get more DMs that are like silly because I just answered something in the video and then I have to make another video essentially doubling down. And then I get caught in this vicious cycle of just like people are like, you're a breakup coach. I'm like, I'm not a fucking coach and I'm not a breakup guy. I'm like trying to get you guys past this so you can get on the path, whatever. You guys know that whole spiel. Anyways, been a lot of questions about that. So if you are going through that, submit your questions about that. If you want to focus on business, do that. You guys can always text me about certain things and I'll get you to where I think you need to go regardless. But you guys didn't really submit a whole lot of questions tonight. So we'll start with this. But I want you guys to also connect in the Discord, which you guys have been doing a great job doing. So keep that up. But does anyone have any initial questions based upon what I said? Any updates to the community, XYZ? Okay. I'll be gone mid-April to,
Can you hear me there?
yeah. What's up, Tona? Say hello.
Hey, hi, how's it going? Sorry, I had a situation here with the mic. Just to introduce myself, my name is Tona Hernandez. I'm originally from Mexico, currently living in San Diego. I was a supply chain manager on a furniture business here in the United States, and I just started this week a new operation manager work as also in a furniture business, and I'm here to, I have a situation personally that make me like need to grow up, and I want to focus on my personal growth in this moment. So yeah, that's it.
Hell yeah. Got a bunch of Californians on the call tonight, right? Everybody except you and or me and Emily, I guess. God damn. All right. So thanks, Tona. Welcome to the community also. But let's hop into questions. Let's see. First question. What is imposter syndrome and how do you stop it? Okay. Taylor, I'm gonna call on you for that one. What do you think? What is imposter syndrome? How do you stop it?
I don't even remember what the answer was to this. I know we've talked about it a lot. Um, Come back to me. I was gonna say I don't even know how to put it into words. I know what it is. I know for me it was like holding myself back because I didn't think I could do it. So I don't know. I'm not gonna answer this one tonight.
You're good. Brian, what you got?
I mean, I think it's like doubting one's like self or ability. Um, just, yeah, doubting, doubting oneself or ability.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Lindsay, what's imposter syndrome? How do you deal with it?
Imposter syndrome is when you're qualified for what you're doing, but you feel like you're not qualified. And I definitely deal with that a lot when I'm like writing or reading or making videos. If I don't feel like I have all my certifications yet, I am like, what makes me qualified to make this video? Um, how do I deal with it? Still figuring that out. I think just doing more, just putting yourself out there more, um, and making yourself be seen even if you don't want to be.
Can't
Okay.
remember now.
What you got?
Took me a minute. I honestly wasn't prepared to come on the call tonight because I thought I was going to be at a different networking event. Um, so yeah, imposter syndrome is like doubting yourself and not thinking that you have the actual ability to do what you're doing, but you really do. And that holds you back from being able to progress or hit your next level. The only way I've gotten around it is to just do it, or like Cam says, just full send, just do it, throw it up, post it. Um, Journaling helps me, and I'm only speaking for me because I don't know how anybody else would fix themselves. But journaling, and then also I will take like when I will get in my head, especially with the magazine and how far we're growing. I just hired 3 more people for it, which is amazing because I'm stepping back and not doing a whole lot and just kind of directing and checking with people. But I have to remember that my phone goes off about 20 times a day with people trying to get my attention or trying to be in there. And it's not that I can't do this or I'm not, because I'll think, oh, nobody really wants to do it. Like, it's just a little tiny magazine. It's just in this area. Like, unless you're in real estate, you really don't know about this. No, I have enough business to where I had to hire a salesperson to do all my sales for me because I can't keep up with the workload. So reminding myself, hey, you've built something really great. So mantras in the morning, is that what you call them? When you repeat stuff?
Mantras, affirmations.
That's what it is, affirmations. So I have them written in like dry erase on my mirror. I journal to write down like the good things from the day and to remind myself. And then I have a sheet of paper in my wallet. So when there's really bad days, I remember, hey, this is what you've done so far and this is what you've overcome. So, because it's real easy to get in your head, especially when you're an entrepreneur, of like you're going to hit a lot of those days and a lot of those valleys where you're like, what the F am I doing? I'll just go get a regular job. But I would rather skin myself than go get another 8 to 5 job Monday through Friday because that would be awful. So that's my take.
Okay. Okay. I like it a lot. Let's kind of let's actually Tona, what do you think imposter syndrome is? How do you handle it?
Well, personally, I think I have failed before like that when I have doubt like of the I've been a person that have been growing up on in corporative works a lot, but I got some new, let's say, task, and I don't feel like I can do a doubt of myself on some activities. But at the end of the day, I overcome to this, and I still achieving what I need. But at the first, it's something like you don't feel like you actually can do it, or you feel like people actually don't believe in what you're doing, but you do have the skills, you do have the all the you need to do it. It's just yourself doubting about it. But when the time passes and you start to feeling like comfortable about it, or you start passing this whole at least that's how I feel it from this part.
Okay, good. Emily, what you got here?
So for me, imposter syndrome, like everybody else has said, self-doubt, doubting your ability, um, maybe lacking confidence to just be authentic. For me, I just know and believe that I've already faced so much in life that really I can conquer anything. So I mean, just kind of having that self-belief and kind of like Taylor said too, the affirmations, um, just reminding myself, yeah, anything's possible.
Okay. Good. Good. I like that. My take on imposter syndrome is like you're always gonna have it, right? So I just accept that, okay, I'm gonna feel like an imposter at some certain things. And then for me, the solution to is it's more or less repetition, right? Like you have to get a certain number of reps at something, and especially when you start something new, Taylor, your new job, Emily being an entrepreneur, right? Tona, life right now feels new, okay? Like for you guys, Brian, I mean, every one of you guys is starting a new phase, a new aspect. What you need with the thing that you're doing is repetition, right? There's no you needing to defeat imposter syndrome, but it's just repetition for where you are. Humans are built for repetition. The more that you do a performed task or a given task, you will improve, right? Some days you're the dog, some days you're the hydrant. I get it, but like over time, you will increase exponentially the more that you repeat that task. Make sense? So don't try to defeat imposter syndrome. Just like focus on the task. Okay, if it's sweeping, if it's cleaning something, if it's posting on social media, if it's designing a website, if it's asking a chick out on a date, if it's learning how to be alone, like just okay, get another rep at it. If another rep is another day, another hour, whatever, just focus on reps. That's how you deal with imposter syndrome. I don't, I've had to dumb that down for myself and I just focus on reps. Just get another rep, right?
Working till failure.
Yeah, just like not even till failure, just like fall in love with the process. And then if you're gonna fail, fail fast so you learn what not to do, right? So then you course correct over time. So like failure isn't eventually like yes, failure is the thing that you're seeking, but failure will just drop off your vocabulary because you never lose, you either win or you learn, right? There is no such thing really
It's
as
gym
failure.
talk, Cam.
Huh?
It's gym talk.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, repetition till failure, awesome. Like hypertrophy is great, but with life, right? I don't even want you guys to start thinking about like, oh, I failed at this, I failed at that. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. People don't
No.
fail at relationships. You come into this life alone, you're going to leave this life alone. And that might sound depressing, but like, look, relationships are designed to help you grow and to teach you things at certain parts of your life. You don't have an ex, you have your greatest teacher. Your ex is your greatest teacher. So it's all in the way that we start to change the way that we talk to ourselves internally, externally. Affirmations are great, but instead of affirmations, because everyone likes to talk about affirmations, how about they just become statements of truth for yourself, statements of truth for your life? It's a much more powerful way to think about it. Make sense? I don't know. I'm gonna write a book this year. That's my goal. And instead of just making all these tangents of things that I say repeatedly, I'm just gonna put it down in a book. All right. Any questions there? Anything else to add? Okay. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings, so like let me know what you think. Anyways, man, you guys are not so many questions. This is a good one. Relating to imposter syndrome, actually. How do I defeat the belief of not wanting to be seen? So, how do I deal with or defeat the belief of not wanting to be seen? Talking about visibility wounds here. Brian, I'm calling you. What'd you think? Dealing with not being seen, afraid to be in the limelight or being seen by others. What'd you think? Or you're on mute. You might be at the gym. Okay. Emily, what you got? How do you defeat the belief of not wanting to be seen?
I feel like lately I've had to, well, not lately, like the past year and a half, I've had to just get really comfortable with being more visible. Just working in HR. Initially, it was super uncomfortable. But now I just kind of I make sure that when I come to work, I'm always ready to be dropped on Facebook, and I just kind of beat it to the punch. Like I'm out there introducing myself first, making other people nervous, and it feels good.
Mhm. Okay. Good. So you just, what is it? Repetition? Like Are you afraid about being seen by others? We're talking about visibility wounds here. So walk me through maybe what that looks like, maybe what that feels like. Let me know what you think.
At first, it's super scary, but it is kind of a repetition thing. Um, but it's kind of like that David Schwartz book, like we're all people. Nobody's any more different than the other person is. Like we're all people. We're all motivated by the same things. At the end of the day, it's just another person. And I think a lot of being more comfortable being seen anymore for me is just realizing we're all the same.
Okay. I love that. Taylor, what do you think? We've talked a lot about visibility wounds over time. What's your take?
Talked a lot about a lot of stuff. I I think what I've taken away from it is you never know who you're going to affect in the room or in the space that you're in that you're showing up as. Um, I've had to learn. So the last 6 months of last year was absolutely atrocious and awful, and like to the point where I had to put a whole security system on my house and thought, okay, if I make myself small, if I just kind of hide, I won't have to worry about the people who are slandering me and stuff. And now I'm to the point where it's like I don't care. Like it's going to happen no matter what. You can't hide from everything. My dad used to always tell us, like, especially when it's called like in 2002, he's like, there's going to be terrorism everywhere. You can't stay at home all the time. You've got to learn to just, you're going to run into battle at some point. So you have to know how to defend yourself. So you have to be confident in yourself. If you're putting out yourself out there, like somebody's going to learn from this. And I've learned that there's a lot of these rooms I've walked into where, and it's really a mean girls club. I already know who's going to say what and what's going to be said. And at this point, I just don't care. But there's going to be 2 or 3 people who are going to benefit from me being there because I know I'm strong enough to deal with these people and they're going to feel like they can stand up and do it themselves too. So I don't do it for I've stopped paying attention to all the haters and whoever criticizes because no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody that's not happy with it. I have a typical Italian mother who's never happy with anything at all. There's always something I did wrong. So that's conditioned me to always just be, you just say, you kind of like with imposter syndrome, you accept it's going to happen, you know it's going to happen, and you just have to have your ways of dealing with it and be prepared for it, or at least have your safe space to decompress after the fact and have those people who are always going to be your cheerleaders. I have a few friends, I know I can text Cam and say, hey, this happened. And he'll probably say, well, why do you feel like that? What do you think the outcome is for this? But it's also, you got to have that safe space afterwards too, so you can decompress from it. But it's just there. It'll always be there. Accept it. And yeah.
Yeah, being seen when you don't want to feels feels very not great, obviously, right? That's not a shock to anybody here. Especially when you're not seeking the limelight and somebody kind of puts you on blast. That's happened to me, and it's very easy to feel like a victim there. When you want to be seen and you're not, adversely, that feels just as humiliating. So I think an underlying emotion that drives most human behavior is humiliation. So like visibility wounds, the little bit that I've started to read about it and understand about it, it's either one of those two aforementioned things. Either you want to be seen and you aren't, which means that your subconscious needs aren't getting met, right? You're not being seen by other people. Or if you feel like you're being seen too often and you're just seeking space and solace on your own, like from a mental capacity, that's also like, I can't catch a break. And then that also breeds contempt and humiliation as well. So think about celebrities. On X the other day, I saw a video of somebody going up to John Cena when he was out to lunch with a friend. And they were like, John Cena, do the thing. And he was like, hey man, I'm out to lunch with a friend, and just was like, I'm literally trying to be a person here, right? And I thought that was a very, very human thing to do. Like that right there was a great example of a visibility wound. So it can come in all shapes and sizes, but don't think that there's something wrong with you. Like understand that that's a very natural process. Okay. Tona, do you have anything on visibility wounds? What are your thoughts there? No, okay. He might be driving. If you guys got to do stuff, there you are, Tony.
Yeah,
What's up?
no, sorry, it's the mic here. Yeah, I think my first question, my first answer was gonna be like I never had this situation before because I'm like someone that actually normally feels comfortable like being watched and actually we always wants to everyone to notice his presence. It's part of my strategy sometimes for business, for a dialogue that I have with people. But you know, when you feel like when you don't, there's some situations in life that you may be passing through that you rather to not be seen like in the state that you are sometimes. And I don't think like it's something bad. Like maybe it's just part of this process of like getting together with yourself and 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 at the end of the day, what I think is that you don't have to pass all the time like that. You have to overcome of that, and because being seen and show yourself like you are and show the people what you can do and have these conversations or demonstrate whatever you like. It's something good, I think, and I don't feel like it's something that we keep like for a long time. Maybe sometimes just keep it for yourself, but at the end of the day, I believe that you do have to show yourself to the world sometimes. Most of the time, I guess.
Okay. I like that. I like that as well. Like these are good answers. They're good conversations, right? Brian, are you back yet or are you still in the gym? Okay. Still in the gym. Anyways, anybody else on visibility wounds? Because I would like to do more research here. Oh, okay. Let's hop
I want to
to
say something.
shoot. What you got?
Yeah, I feel like I get really uncomfortable with being seen because I feel like if I make like 5 seconds of eye contact with someone, I can like read their mind and know what they're thinking, usually the male species, and I do not like it, whether I'm wearing sweatpants and a baggy shirt or a, gym outfit, it doesn't matter. So I feel like that I get really like frustrated with. But it's not something that's gonna stop happening. So I think I just need to be more conscious of who I make eye contact with or just try to keep all my energy into myself.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know what that's like as a female, right?
It's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, ladies, talk about what that's like. Like this is a safe space. So I
It's
don't know.
not fun. It's not fun, like being in that particular situation where you feel like you can't make eye contact with anyone that's male for the fear that it's going to be miscommunicated as interest, or even for the fear of you're not trying to, like, you may not be communicating interest, but even noticing that they're interested in you. I identified with that.
Yeah. Is this mostly in a gym environment that this happens? Like I'm gonna play dumb here for a second. Like I've never been
Everywhere.
right, but everywhere. Mm. What does that feel? I talk a lot about like emotional safety, mental safety, physical safety, but I don't know what that's like. Like the only thing comparable thing I can think of for dudes is when dudes wear gray sweatpants in the fall. I'm like my eyes are up here, right? But that's not even close to how you guys probably feel on a consistent basis. So I'm curious. I mean, what is that like from the female side of things all the time, everywhere you go, every day?
It makes you want to shrink, make yourself smaller.
Feels gross. It feels like you're a piece of me, or like going to Waffle House and picking out what you want on the menu, and you're cheap and you're easy and you're a throwaway and you're just a toy. Like you could put a bag over my head and it wouldn't matter what happens after the fact, and you would just move on to the next. Not saying you, but whoever the subject is, we move on to the next person. Um, I've become really jaded and cold and very sarcastic and mean with people with this. My DM, I finally figured out how to turn off my DMs on my Facebook because it was wild. Um, and this last week, somebody had liked one of my posts or something, but found my work number and called me or texted me some explicit stuff that he wanted. So I was, I mean, he should have used a Google number because I ended up finding out his wife's info and messaged her and asked her to have him stop doing that. But and it was all because I posted a photo with my son, and I'm like, he's like, oh, you know, just all kinds of things. I'm like, I'm in a t-shirt. I'm not even trying. But you don't feel human. I mean, I feel less than like, so I would feel less than a pet. Like I would feel less than a dog because you don't, there's no value to you. Like you're there to serve a purpose. So it's not, then when she says not, I know what it means to be like not fun. I mean, I feel like I'm a lot older than you ladies and I just stare back at them. If they're gonna stare at me, I'm just gonna stare into their soul. And remind them that, you know, at the end of the day, like I have what they want, so please go away. Um, but it's especially if you're in the work environment and that's happening. Because I used to sit on a lot of teams where I was the only female out of like 54 stores. And it's a little humiliating because there's nothing I can do to change this. Um, it is just what it is. And it's not even if you're wearing something provocative. I could just say hi to someone and smile, and that's immediate like open door to say, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm like, that's great. We don't have to share everything we think about. We don't share all of our opinions. So I'm sorry you ladies deal with that, but you can get real sarcastic with it. It's kind of fun. I started asking them if they got their, well, never mind. I've got a whole list of stuff you can tell these guys, especially if you comment on their athleticism they don't have or when they plan to grow taller. Or when they started balding. That gets them going.
There you go.
So.
Lindsay, how do you deal with this?
I feel like now I'm just pretty over it. It happened the other day when I was re-signing up for my gym membership. Us managers like staring at me, and I just stared into his soul until he looked away. I feel like there's a lot of times where I can feel someone looking at me without having to look at them. So I just don't act like they're there. And I'd rather, if they're gonna come up to me now, I'm just not going to say anything. Like mimic the amount of energy I give them, not be like, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend or what. Just be like, I don't want to talk. Like I'd rather be the bitch than like the villain than the person that's like, oh no, I'm sorry, like go away. Like, no, get away from me. Like, because I'm a small person. So moving to San Francisco, I've got more like in tune with that and realize how not everyone is like me and not in like an egotistical standpoint, but like not everyone makes people feel seen. And when you do, you don't know another person's life. This could be the first time he's talking to a woman in years. And people get obsessive and it can be dangerous. So I just try to mimic or lower the energy that I give as much as I can.
That's good stuff. I don't even know what to say because I don't really claim to know what that's like, but I can empathize. Guys, you have anything? Tona, Brian, any comments? Yeah, probably best that the guys stay silent on this one. All right. Like my heart goes out to you ladies because that's a tough one. And I a lot of the male clients in this community, I will have a conversation about how to create and focus on like how to have a safe place for emotions, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And a lot of men, whether they've been dumped or whether they're doing this and get back into dating, that is one of the things that we really try and focus on, right? And I have the privilege of having made those mistakes and having blown past that, but also learning really, really difficult lessons in understanding, okay, well, this is how you do that, right? This is really what this means because I get to talk with ladies who teach me this stuff, right? A lot of the content I'll speak very much and very eloquently about like what I know the male psyche to be, which is helpful for women. But when I get questions about like, well, what does this mean when girls do this? I'll say, here's my best guess based upon the research that I've had because I'm not a woman. I don't claim to understand women. and every woman is completely different. But I think the fact that you guys don't feel safe or you guys are perpetually every single day on the defensive, I can't imagine how exhausting that would be because I would not be able to tolerate that. So
I
again,
can
go
like
ahead.
so I got on a dating app the other day because my schedule's so busy and I'm like, Colby's leaving. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna try and venture out and practice dating because it's been a
Yeah.
really long time since I've been on a date. I last about 48 hours. And I don't put any photos that have any sort of cleavage at all because it's immediately like I get all the
Right.
troglodytes coming out and telling me all their crazy fantasies. Um, but there will be like 100 matches and then just crazy stuff. But the second a guy, my bar is so low that if a guy can make me feel safe, I hook, line, and sinker, we're good to go. If guys can flip the script and take the put their masculinity at the forefront of it, make us feel safe, they would have no issue out in the wild talking to any female. I can hands down tell you because I have tons of single friends that is always the same thing. Like if we go out to lunch or something, you'll get the stares, you'll get the like, looking up and down, whatever. Guys, especially we have a lot of old guys around here, like I mean over 70. They don't stop at any age. But if a guy could disarm me by making me feel safe, there would be zero problems. But I have to be on the defense. I have to try and read through what their intentions are. If they're going to become a problem later on, like if I've told them no and they keep going and it keeps going even further to like, do I need to worry about getting a restraining order? Do I have to call my lawyer and have him file one against this guy too? When I was in California, I had more restraining orders against guys who did not know what it meant to mean no, say no. Florida's different. I can carry. So I'm not as scared here, but it's a real thing. There's a lot of things I didn't notice. Like Colby was driving us to Best Buy or something, and he parks at the farthest end. I'm like, I need to be under the stoplight. Or street light. I've got to be close to the door. I've got to get a quick exit. He's looking at me like I'm nuts. He's tall like you, Cam. He's 6'4" now, and I'm like freaking out. He's like, Mom, I'm right here. I'm like, no, but this is the stuff I have to do. Like, and if the parking lot doesn't feel safe, I just won't go to that store and I'll go back tomorrow in the daylight. So, gosh, you guys got me thinking about this. I didn't even realize all this.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So what does that look like? So when a guy actually does something right and is creating that sort of emotional safety, what does that look like? Ladies, let's hear it from you. I know it's different for
I got
everybody.
one.
What you got?
So I've been in the gym like 2 to 3 hours in the evening sometimes, and someone that I've kind of been talking to said that he wished he could make me dinner and then wished he was like, I wish I could make you dinner and then tell you to go take a bath and then go heat up a towel in the dryer for you so you could have a warm towel when you get out. That for me was cool.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. And that's how you like to be made to feel safe. Yeah?
Kind of sorta. Like
Okay.
like somebody actually cares about something other than them getting something.
Okay. Interesting. I like that. Um, okay. What else? How else do you guys like to be made to feel safe?
Just asking. Like it's you don't have to say like what makes you feel safe. But it's, hey, what do you prefer? Do you prefer meeting in public or do you prefer going to, brunch first? There's a reason why I always do brunch or lunch. It's busier, it's brighter out, it's easy to have an exit plan. I drive a white SUV and that's like 90% of what women around here drive. So if I drive off in it, you're not going to find me when I leave. I had someone recently say, hey, I wanted to plan a date, but I want to know what your preference is and where you feel comfortable meeting. And do you mind if I pick you up? Those questions were like, he's thinking about what I'm thinking, or he's just really good about getting in my head. But I'm taking it as he's trying to take the next step and like consider what I'm thinking versus saying, oh, I'm going to meet you here. I'm picking you up. Because when a guy gets really aggressive about picking me up or wanting me to meet him at his house or something, I always laugh and go, oh, it's probably because you got dead bodies under your floorboards. Most guys will joke or be like, oh, yeah, actually, I have a whole room set up for that. But the guys who flip out are usually the psycho ones who probably do have dead bodies under the floor or something crazy. But it's just that extra forethought. It's just like, hey, I wanted to go do this, but do you feel comfortable with it? And I learned that because my kid is doing that with his girlfriend. He noticed that she like clams up about certain things and he goes, "Hey, I know," because we live kind of far from me where she's at, and she was adamant that he was not going to pick her up from the house. I was like, why don't you just ask her if you can meet her at the movies instead, or bowling or whatever it was. And he did, and she completely got disarmed. He was like, well, yeah, this is what I prefer to do, or this is what I like to do. And he asked her just why, and she had her whole story. But I think it's just asking questions like, hey, this is what I was intending to do. What do you think about that? And I think, well, I feel like I can pick up when someone's giving me the cold shoulder or pushing me off. So if a guy can pick up on that and just start asking some questions, probably would open some doors.
Okay. That's good. Lindsay, what do you think?
I think that it takes time to feel safe. And a guy can say all those right things and ask all those questions the first couple dates, but that doesn't mean that that's who he is. I think guys can only hold that mask up for like 3 months, 3 to 5 months. I think it's about how your body feels when you're with someone. Um, if you're feeling a bunch of anxiety and your stomach hurts, but you think that it's butterflies, that's not a good sign. I think it's good if you feel calm around someone and if you feel emotionally safe. And sometimes that's hard to describe, but I think know what you want in someone physically. Like I like knowing that if I'm with someone and something were to happen, they wouldn't have a problem like, killing a person if they needed to protect me. So that's like big too, but also feeling like I can be more so in my feminine energy and they can be like that rock.
I also
Okay.
think that comes down to us as females having discernment over that too. I mean, yeah, someone's mask is going to fall after 3 months, but so is your own mask going to fall after 3 months. It goes both ways. Being on both sides of it, just because I'm experiencing watching my son have an adult relationship and seeing how he experiences stuff, because obviously I've never been a man. Um, at least I definitely have never been a man that I know of. And I've never had those where he has to pursue and he has to um be the one, I don't know, be the one to lead in the relationship. But having that discernment and being able to get to know someone and take, I think I told Cam a couple weeks ago, like with the dating apps, like I don't text somebody until I go out and meet with, like I'll text here, they're like, hey, hope you're having a good day if they say something. But if somebody wants to jump out, like there was one guy that wanted to talk to me every day. I'm like, dude, we're gonna see each other on Saturday. Like I work during the week. I have extremely long days. I don't have time for the chit chat. And if I have nothing to talk to you when we meet up, I'm gonna be like, this is a waste of my time. This is so inefficient. And I'm gonna get into my very analytical brain. But so I make them wait. And it's good to you have to have time to like also decompress and learn the person that you just met with. I used to think journaling was complete bullshit and crazy and hippie. But now I'm able to be like, okay, well, met with this guy, and then I'm like, oh yeah, oh wait, that wasn't, that wasn't butterflies, or oh, my stomach was just upset that day. And I can actually decipher what I'm feeling instead of just like constantly always there. So I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm getting old and I'm taking a step back to try and move things a lot slower, but it's having that discernment and practicing discernment is probably the strongest what I'm working on this year to decipher more of what's going on and not just what's going on in my head.
Mhm. Which I think is super, super important, right? Like discernment is a skill that helps keep you alive and it helps you temper your emotions, right? Like think about that word really quick. Discernment is your ability to switch between emotional and logical reactions, right? Taylor, you've done a great job about that. Like I don't think you would be able to get as many things done that you normally get done if you didn't have great discernment. Would you agree?
Yeah, in the business world, yes. Interpersonal world is, yeah.
Yeah, that's not something that people that's not really something that can be taught. I think it can only be acquired through like a lot of experience and being able to run that fast or go at that speed and having made mistakes but learning how to do it and then how to maintain that op tempo. Like I don't know. I'm in my mid 30s and I can't go as hard as fast as I used to, but I have the discernment to be able to essentially just maintain a slower pace for longer, right? That's how I would probably call discernment. But what's the difference, Taylor, between discernment in your personal life, right? Personal dating, intimate life, and what is discernment in the professional life? Can you shed light on those two differences?
So I'm the same person essentially in both. I care about the people I work with. I care about my employees. I care about every partner I have in the magazine and every realtor I feature. Like I care about their stories to a great extent. And when there's a riff or something wrong, like I won't show my emotions, but it eats me alive. And I mean, I will be in my shower crying because nobody needs to see me cry. But in our like with business though, there is no emotion in business at the same time. I don't exude emotion in it. It is very factual, is analytical. It is, there's a customer service part of it, but you're not emotional when you're doing customer service. You're placating and you're being kind. Dare I say nice in most instances, because you're trying to meet a common goal. Interpersonally, you're dealing with somebody's actual emotions and their feelings and I don't know, it's a little deeper than just because I mean if a business relationship ends, it's okay. There's like 1,000 more out there that's gonna pop up. But you don't necessarily want to have 1,000 more boyfriends if one doesn't work out. Maybe you do, no judgment, but it's not like my end goal. I mean, and I've been very clear with people, and it's okay. I've learned to be okay with people just shutting down immediately. It's like I'm intentional about dating. If there's not going to be an end result, or you don't have the intention of being married at some point, then this just is we're not on the same page. If you're not Christian or you're not willing to at least explore your faith with me, then we are not going to be on the same page. It's always going to be something we argue about, and I just rather not go down that pathway. But I guess the difference is business to me is just business. I can compartmentalize them. I've failed at so many businesses, but I've also won at so many businesses, so I know that that's just going to be fine. I'm getting that way with relationships. I used to get super excited about someone, and then it would crash and burn. I'd be so upset. Now I'm just like I'm really okay to say, hey, look, I'm just not feeling it. And I'm going to hold you back if I keep leading you on. So I think we should either take a break, feel free to go do what you want, but I can't show up for you the way you need me to show up. Instead of trying to, because I will be a people pleaser and try and mold my life to keep someone happy. So just having that discernment on what you can bring, what you expect. Lindsay, you said it. Cam, you used to make me write down all my non-negotiables and boundaries. I don't just do that. Now I have it for like work, for my personal life, for relationships. Like this is what I can and can't do. This is what I expect to receive. And if not, I will mirror your attention or your effort. If you text me once a week, I'm going to reply once a week. I'm not going to go above and beyond to win someone over. We're not even at that phase, you're not past that talking phase or whatever. But I guess it's just because I feel like I'm dealing with a whole nother person, their emotions and their life versus work is just work.
Yes, that's such a big one sometimes too. So let's kind of shift gears because there's a couple more questions that I want to get to before we run out of time. There were some good ones. Where did it go? Ba ba ba. Because we're hitting on some good stuff. Who's that last one? Oh yeah, this was the last one that I kind of wanted to really, really hear your guys' thoughts on. How do you stop yourself from spiraling, right? So number one, what is spiraling? And I'd like to hear from one of the guys, right? What is spiraling and how do you stop yourself from spiraling? Tona, what you got?
I'm not really familiar with the concept, so I will pass on this and see if once I understand it, I can tell about it.
Okay. I mean that's a good thing, but I I'm really, really curious about this because I have my own thoughts, but Brian, are you still at the gym? Are you still on silent mode?
Good. Hey,
What you got? What's spiraling? How do you stop yourself from doing it?
well, funny you should say because I almost just did this recently. So I, my, I'm just being honest here. So you know, after 3 months, then, she started hitting me up. Hey, why come you're not talking to me? And so we talked and get back into the, talking thing. And then this avoidant thing, pull back. And I start to go back into that spiral mode and, back to that person. But because of the work and the foundation that I had did, I started to replay these things in my mind, like this frames thing I was just talking to you about, and just these things that I had programmed in here, and it allowed me to just say, no, hey, wait a minute, you got these things, that these affirmations and this work that you've done, that's what you need to do. Okay. And instead of it going down south, it put me on that higher plane, and it's like, oh, it's going to be okay. All right, cool. Just going to get right back on this thing and just keep going. And I'm not doing that. And I just have programmed my mind to do that at all costs.
Yeah, dude, I love how brutally honest you are. But what advice would you give to others, right? So like that's your situation. But what is spiraling? How would you recognize it in another human being? And then how does somebody really just shake themselves out of it? How do they just catch themselves and go, wait a second, what the fuck's going on right here? Right? What would you
Well,
tell another human being?
first I would say, well, play the tape. You didn't die yet. And what's it going to look like if you do this? Or what's it going to look like if this happens? And, and just, sit with yourself for a second. Pick up the phone, first of all, and call somebody that you trust, a mentor, somebody, first of all, and say, hey, I'm having a bad idea. This is going on. What do you think? Should I do this? No. And chances are somebody you trust is going to tell you not to do that or not to think that way. And somebody that, you trust can text, like, some of us probably text you, hey, what do you think about this? And that's a bad move. And just, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely think having an accountability person is really good. There's there's one thing that I see people do, and like I allow and I expect, right, clients, people in this community to do that, okay? To spiral, to like talk through stuff. If I see you spiraling too much, I'm gonna like I have to lay down the law and be like, my brother in Christ, like this, you are better than this, you are stronger than this. You can't give into your emotions. But there's a movie called Vertical Limit that came out a long time ago. And it's about these guys that climb Mount Everest, and a bunch of stuff happens and a bunch of people die. But there was one scene where this guy needs to jump across this chasm. There's a gap that he has to do it. And he goes and he runs and he jumps and he misses, but he has these two ice axes in his hand and he flashes onto the wall, but it breaks both of his arms. And whenever I'm spiraling, I literally replay that scene in my head because I have got to catch myself. Like some people, instead of going down the slide and spiraling, literally down the spiral, some people just go head first right off the entire fucking playground, right? And land on their necks. And it's like, okay, well, let's not do that again. You didn't die, but you definitely hurt yourself more than you needed to. But it's also just catching the fact that your emotions, like you are not your thoughts, you're not your emotions. You don't need to go for a ride. They want to take you for a ride, but it's you that jumps in the boat. So like, yeah, your emotions, and you have to imagine just a glass wall and you're just watching like somebody being interrogated from behind the glass wall. It's called watching the watcher. So remove yourself from the room and then watch yourself like a third person, third party perspective, like you're playing a video game or watching a movie, and you're literally looking down into that screen like, what would you command that character to do next? That's how you remove yourself from the situation. That's how you separate your emotions. You don't have to deal with the 3D and the physical right here. You can zoom out, go 30,000 feet above the situation, and then start strategically planning your next moves, right? That's how I personally stop spiraling. Journaling, meditation, nature, all of the regular things, you have to do that stuff consistently because that provides a more natural, honest outlet for the emotions that you're having. But also look at the environment that you're in. If your environment is triggering, if your city is triggering, if your workplace is triggering, if the places that you cohabitate with an ex or you bump into them are triggering, if work is triggering, if your phone, if Instagram, if TikTok is triggering, what triggers are you allowing in your life that help you and aid you in that spiral downward? What are you going to do about it? Right? That's why I tell most people to get off social media. You guys see the questions, the Q&As that I do on Instagram with people week in and week out, right? Some people are clearly spiraling, so to speak. I'll be nice, but some people are spiraling, and I have to be a little bit more brutal to those people because I can see who submits the same question week after week after week, and it's frustrating for me not to see some of those people make progress, the same progress that you guys are making, because you guys don't submit those types of similar questions week after week. You're doing the work, you're making the progress. You should be committed to that. But throughout this personal growth period, do you guys feel like you're spiraling more? Do you guys feel like you're spiraling less? What's your guys' take?
I know I'm spiraling a lot less. Like I can almost catch myself now. And I'll be like, all right, you've got 2 minutes to sit with this, and then you're done. Like pack it up and move on because you do not have time.
Yeah,
Um,
2 minutes is too long.
well, it depends on if I'm driving or not, because then I don't want to back. So there's times that's why I was like, 2 minutes will be gracious. But no, it's definitely like a hold on. And if I have to, like if I can't get my head out of it, I will put on worship music because that will snap me out of it. I've also got a lineup on YouTube of when I have a really hard time sleeping now, I'll put on some, they're called like sleepy Bible verses or something. It's this monotone ass guy that just reads the Bible. It knocks me out, but it resets everything to where it's like, okay, why am I doing this? What is the whole purpose of, and that's what I believe because I believe in the Bible. So it works for me and it's done tremendous because then I'm not sitting here dwelling on stuff like I may have been before. It would take me a week to get over something. Now it's just like, all right, cool, that happened. Anyways, moving on. Because there's probably going to be 20 other fires today that are going to throw me off too.
Good, right? I love that. Gregorian chants as well. Holy shit. Fucking awesome. Anyways, who else is spiraling less and why? I don't need accolades, but I'm curious as to if you're spiraling less and what's worked for you. Brian, Lindsay, Emily, are you spiraling less, more? How come? What's going on?
It's less, but it feels more intense when it happens.
Mhm. Explain.
Well, I feel like when you become more like aware of yourself, you feel things deeper. So when you have certain thoughts that are from the past, you can have that awareness of, yeah, these thoughts aren't me, but then you could think, oh, well, how have I really changed if I'm still having these thoughts?
Yeah.
Then you can go into a big spiral,
Yeah.
a big shape spiral.
You are not your thoughts. You guys ever read that book? You are not your thoughts?
Yeah.
Actually, what is it? Joseph Nguyen? Yeah, NGU. Oh, don't believe everything you think. Have you guys ever listened to this book?
Yeah, you can get it on TikTok
You can get it on TikTok. Oh, of
for
course.
free.
But I feel okay. I'm gonna put this in the chat for you guys. Okay. Don't believe everything you think. It's just a great book. Why You're Thinking is the beginning and end of suffering. Like he just kind of hammers that home, and it's pretty awesome, right? He also has another great book that's called Boundaries Equals Freedom. Like this dude gets it. I don't know who he is, but he just gets it. Like the stuff I read, I was like, yeah, I was like, this is awesome, right? Not really new information because I feel like I've been preaching this stuff for a long time. But this is also another good book that he has, Boundaries Equals Freedom. So go into the chat while I kind of wrap up and I'm just kind of explaining this stuff and click on those two links because it's good stuff, right? How to create boundaries that set you free without feeling guilty. That's the play right there, right? You setting boundaries shouldn't make you ever feel guilty, but that's how you get your power back. Setting boundaries is not trying to manipulate or control someone else. It's just saying, hey man, no thanks. I'm all good here, right? Not going to tolerate that. See you later. Deuces. when we do that to people that don't give us meet our needs and expectations, right? We free ourselves from the burdens of shame, of guilt, and regret. And that's a great way that stops most people from spiraling. Most people spiral because we feel codependent and responsible for other people's emotions. And because of that, we end up people pleasing, which means we give in order to get. And because we give in order to get, it makes us resent ourselves, places more expectations, which are just premeditated resentments for when something's not met. Somebody doesn't meet that, makes you self-sabotage and self-loathe. It's a cycle and it's a pattern that I teach all of you guys at some point. And I'll continue to talk about it. But like, once again, hats off to you guys for continuing to show up, continuing to put the work in. I got gluten yesterday, so I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Very under the weather today. And I have a really bad headache. But I want you guys to continue to just keep doing the work. Doesn't ever stop, doesn't ever end. Very proud of you guys. Continue to teach others. You guys are essentially these lighthouses that teach other people in your lives how to treat other people. And then you improve and you inspire other people. Not everyone is capable of doing this kind of work for as long as a lot of you guys have been doing this work. Doesn't mean you need to change everybody. Sometimes you just have to let people be who they are and how they are when they are. Okay. So don't try and save everybody, but continue to do the work day in, day out. I'm very proud of you guys. And I'll talk with all of you guys soon. If you don't want this session posted to YouTube at some point, let me know. Send me a message on WhatsApp and just say, hey, would you mind not posting that? Not a problem. I probably won't post it for a couple days anyway, so just let me know. But if you have anything else, send me a message. I'm always here when I can. My time is really, really short because of upcoming work stuff and global issues, obviously. But yeah, stay safe, and I'll see you guys all very soon, okay?
Thanks. Y'all have a good night.
All right, take
Thank
care.
you.